Game 2, we're going to get in here with Leopard versus Baldwin on Evacuation. And Leopard is playing as the Dravidians, and Baldwin is playing as the Saracens. Two pretty good civs, actually. I haven't actually seen either of them on this map. And this map is called Evacuation because when you start off on this cracked terrain on this island here, and you'll have two bores here. They're always going to be to the back, so you don't need to worry about laming. But as far as long-term wood, you won't see much here, and long-term food, there's no berries. So there is a spot to place some docks here in the back. You've got shorefish and then a bunch of deep fish. You can also dock on the front too if you wanted to make military later. But if you dock over here, you will only find shorefish. And so it's not advised to dock there. You always dock on the outside of this marshy terrain. And then typically you do scout this area over here, this nice green pastures field. This is where players evacuate to, and you can find a lot of cows. So as you see, Leopard has already started to do that. He's searching around for the cows, and looks like Baldwin might do the same after he does his initial scouting. But we'll see him search down this coast and then make a U-turn and search back on this line. And players sometimes can try to snipe the other person's cows by coming to wait in these crossings too and collecting them before they make it to the town center. So you'll see that looks like Leopard's going to scout with that sheep there, and is going to also bring in a boar, and going to bring in the boar here for Baldwin too. Very nice, very nice. Yeah, so there's a couple different ways you could play this map. You could put your lumber camp here initially and then move it later. You can initially send your lumber camp here and find a good spot to take food with a mill later. Uh, I don't have the greatest build on this map, nor do I think I'm good at it either, because every time I've played, even if I pick the map, I do lose. It's a lot of fun. I like it. But yeah, a lot of people do ban them, like Nella has mentioned. And Spark says, I feel like unless Dravidians get a good lead, Saracens have all the answers to them. That is true, actually. I think the Saracens obviously have a better stable because they get knights, they get good knights too. And then they get camels. And if Dravidians play for elephant archers, Mameluke is a really good unit against elephant archers because you can do that splash damage on the grouped up units. Oh, does Saracens get bad knights? Am I thinking Amalians have good knights? Okay, I might be wrong there. I guess they've got good archers too, and their camel units get 25%. Okay, just camel units. Saracen knights aren't bad though if you go for them in castle, but yeah, not a good long-term plan, and they don't get cavalier. So, thanks for helping me there, Spark. Appreciate it. Um, and yeah, looks like Baldwin is going to build his mill out here. And I would imagine he takes that boar there too. You can actually take it without garrisoning if you just walk your villager around the mill while the others shoot it. But yeah, Dravidian Cav is worse. um, and oh, wow, Leopard is bringing a boar in across the crossing, blocking with the scout. That's really nice. Actually saving all the HP. That's really good blocking there. And I think from there, you just let it walk in. Yep. And you can even go scout to see where your opponent's at. Speaking of scouting, what do they have? No scouting on each other. And actually not that much scouting for the sheep, like I was expecting. Good to keep focus on getting food under the TC, though. So yeah, I'm not sure. I think Dravidians could go for a infantry play too, but really good archers and good range units in general from the Saracens. So I think Leopard's gonna need to do some damage to prevent this from going late into a Saracen win. Maybe the HP on the Dravidian elephants, if you can get enough of mass, is good, but I think all the counters long term are with the Saracens on that. Okay, and looks like Baldwin brought that bore in from the side as well. That's very nice. And he's done a little more scouting over here, has gotten more sheep. That's the approach I always go for. But Leopard is starting to scout Baldwin instead. And he's going to do this as he sends probably a new wood line out here. Oh, it looks like a mill. Very nice. And I think Baldwin doesn't see that coming. He's going to go scout to see where Leopard is on the new island. And see how this goes from here. And thanks everyone who's hanging out, watching. These are a lot of fun to watch together. And I know some people have seen these games, but this is all new for me. Abley says, for your infantry push, you would need to scout rather than a third boar, Andre. So talking about future strats on this map and how Andre might play it. Andre going for anything infantry related early, though, should not be a surprise to anyone who has ever seen Andre play a multiplayer game. He's really good at really good at going for infantry rushes. It's actually happened on the first team game I played with him on Hideout. He did some infantry pushing there too. So a map you don't really see it on. Yeah. And Andre's gonna come out here, find a wood line. He is doing the evacuation part of this. Not Andre, Baldwin. And Baldwin is adding scouts, so he's gonna come over here. Looks like he's been keeping an eye on where Leopard is, and he's gonna get some early aggression. Leopard is in feudal 2. He does have army, but he's going from the crack side island over here instead, and that's going to take a little bit longer to get a spear out here. But that is in time. As long as it's before the enemy attacks, it's always in time. And it looks like it's here just in time too for this attack to stop. But this is still going to add a lot of headaches here for Leopard, especially if Baldwin can pull away. Looks like he got squished there. Does get that one Vil though. But one Vil, one scout. Maybe not the worst trade-off. I know, Andrea. I'm sorry. You're chatting too much. All right. I do the goldfish thing. Last name I see is the last name I say. So, yeah, Abley going for boom into Paladin is just as common as Andre as a Dark Age push into Men at Arms. Okay, so Baldwin's gonna set up his eco here. He's gonna take farms and gold, and then just wood here. I'd like to see him with some military here to protect from anything. I don't know if he's scouted anything. He's scouting now. And I guess he does see that not Baldwin, Leopard is just focused on defending. It is sloppy though. You're getting caught by the spear there and fighting uphill. And oh, that's just not a good way to lose your scouts. Is going to add a blacksmith, and Baldwin might be switching to go for a castle now. It's what I would do if you lose your feudal army. Instead of adding more, especially if you don't see any from your opponent, you should just plan to go into Castle Age. And yeah, I'm not sure about Leopard's approach. He's kind of just gone for the make defensive army and go to Castle Age, and he's just clicked now. So that'll be nice. He can get a town center here and have safe wood. But long term in the game, I think it's going to set him back in this strategy. And he's going for another range here. So Dravidians, I bet he's thinking about those elephants. And he might even be thinking about going on water as well. Should I say that? And there is a fire ship somewhere. Okay, there's a fire ship. He's searching for water, but there's actually no dock from Baldwin. So that's going to be wasted res. It's going to sit here in the crossing, but honestly, one fire ship in a crossing doesn't do enough. You kind of need it to be some galleys on the sides of the crossing to completely block that off. And be able to do some ranged damage without being able to get bashed down from the villagers. So, and a pretty close uptime here for Baldwin. I like that he was able to make scouts and still have a pretty competitive Castle Age time here. It's a good way to play for both strategies. He was ready to continue to make military and feudal age if that's what his opponent came for, um, versus then also being able to switch up into castle age. And yeah, this is going to prevent any power spike in the next age from Leopard. And also, if he's going for these Dravidian elephant archers, he's going to need more time to mass them and get the upgrades. Because you really need a large mass for them to work out well. And I think we need to see a town center here. There it is. And you even could go for a second town center if you're going for a fast castle. I might recommend it, but you do need military at some point. So there's the elephant archers in queue. And now Baldwin's going to hit his castle each time here. Not too far off. Like Leopard's going to just notice there's no fish from the opponent. Maybe he'll set that as a patrol across the crossing here. Looks like it. And there is a castle from Baldwin. So he's going to immediately fortify his position and start booming on the new island from here. And third TC for Leopard. There it is. I think he's going to bring those villagers from here. He is. I think they're going to go build that TC there. I think all of these villagers are also going to get wood on this TC. So that's nice. You want to evacuate this island earlier than whenever you're being attacked. If you only run when you've been attacked, you've evacuated too late. And now we're going to see another town center from Baldwin here. So a very boomy game. Typically, you see a lot of aggression earlier in the match. At least I always have. Whenever people play against me, they certainly do. So maybe that's a me issue. But I like this from Baldwin. He's added a lot more farms behind. I say a lot more, but actually Leopard's at more food. I guess he's just got more on berries here, is that difference. But the farms are going to be better longer term. It's going to keep the economy more efficient. And only 3 on berries is a nicer balance too. And Baldwin's going to see the 3 TC strat here. Still no military. And I would imagine we go for something now to put some additional pressure on the TCs. Oh, and we've got some fish added too. Really nice spot. Thanks for pointing that out. And having the fish here in the corners is especially nice. Because you still get a good amount of fish here, but I think there's more if you have the corner. And if you take all of the fish on the map, you're definitely going to put yourself into a nice position. Leopard's lack of fuel aggression really threw me off these games. That's fair, you know? Sometimes your timings are all decided by what the opponent goes for. And if your opponent never goes for it, then you kind of go into this boom by default. But at least in this matchup, it kind of helps you, Baldwin, that Leopard isn't being aggressive, because he does need to be aggressive with the units he's going for. And I just noticed now, but we're getting a forward siege workshop with these elephant archers on the front. And what does Leopard see? He's scouting right now. He just caught a cow from the enemy, and he's looking for places to hit. I think he's only going to find spots around the TC. If he knows about that gold, that's where I would hit. And I like that forward outpost. You should probably put the outpost before the mangonel, though. Scouting with your mangonel, not always advised, I will say. And I think we're going to get a hit on the farm. Nope, on the TC. Very nice. I was expecting a splat on the cows, but that's probably better you didn't. And Leopard's only at 5 elephant archers here. So he's really focused on eco and military, which is giving him a higher idle TC time and a lower military count. So he's splitting for both, and he's becoming less effective at both too. And now we're suffering some unit control issues here. You did get this cow though. You did get this cow too, actually. Sorry, I missed that. You did you intentionally get the cow? I want to see. Why am I rewinding for a cow? Because I'm a pro caster. That's why. Where is that cow shot? I'm already committed to the cow shot. I'm committed to the cow shot. You intentionally did it. Okay. That's funny. Well, the food gets denied there. I missed the cow shot. I'm not committed to the cow shot. We're gonna keep watching the game. And what's Baldwin gonna focus on? So he's only got one TC behind this, and he's gonna go for camels. I love camels. Camels are really good against ranged units like CA because you can push them back much quicker than they can push you. And while they might not be as effective like versus knights, they can still do enough damage. And again, only 5 elephant archers here. They are tanky, but they're still going to lose to these camels. There goes the siege. And yeah, this is just bad. It's rough because you really need to be able to micro the elephant archers. You collect them all together, and I see Leopard's focusing on the tankiness here. It's just not going to pay off. That's nice, though. You bring in the spears, you get some hits instead. Uh, that makes it a little better. But still, the spears weren't upgraded, and there's no armor, actually. Wow, that's, I would have thought Leopard would have taken that fight a little better, too. And we're down to 4 elephant archers. That's putting Baldwin in a nice spot economically and militarily wise. And he's over here booming undisturbedly. He's adding farms behind this too. And actually still has a really good eco count here. Leopard's eco is a little worse for wear. He's doing a lot of migrating still. Not as many farms behind this, and I think that's because he's having a bit of a wood supply issue. Add in some more now and getting his upgrades. That's good, although no horse collar till now is a little painful. Baldwin's missing some upgrades too, but still focused on keeping his villager count high, and that should be fine. Stopping that push really hurt. So I think if Leopard was able to push now with 5 additional elephants, we're now at a point where we could tank a lot easier, and you even hold off on those camels and prevent Baldwin from producing them, because he didn't know what unit he needed to go for until he saw those elephant archers. Okay, let's see how these Mamelukes do. I think Mamelukes have less range, but they'll do more clump damage to units on top of each other. And yeah, that's really nice. Look how quickly those elephant archers are dying to the Mamelukes behind. And I think there's no pass through. I thought there would be if they're clumped enough, but it just doesn't matter. The tankiness is getting completely eaten away by this double composition here, and I'd be freaking out if I was Leopard. And you kind of see that in the panic queue of Vils. Says, okay, I need to keep my economy high. I lost all my military. Maybe starts thinking about res over here, gets some more gold access. Mamelukes don't pass through. Okay. I thought maybe I'm thinking of Arambai. That's what I'm thinking of. They do that clump pass-through damage. Still, the Mamelukes did better there with a meat shield in front. And I think they'll do well against the high HP of those elephants. Leopard does sneak away some villagers off the island, but now I think everything is going to be forced into the town center here. And that's really, really rough. You already see the idle eco's worse than Baldwin, the efficiency, and that's only going to get worse here as this TC stays idle. And Baldwin's doing good to keep the pressure on this island. It's tough on this map to keep your eco alive here. It's why it's called evacuation. So this is good for Leopard to focus all his new eco here. I like the castle. It's going to protect it. This is still a vulnerable spot too, especially if you're stuck here. It doesn't take much for your opponent to cross the same channel that you can. Okay, your set got rescheduled. That's fine, Freya. I don't think I'll be able to cast that. I have to do cooking tonight, so that's what I'll be focused on. But definitely down to watch that set as Rex too. So might have to do that when I get the chance. But as long as you guys have the set scheduled, that's what matters here. And more evacuations from Leopard. It's really good. He's kind of given up on this area here. You can tell by his lack of focus. Understandably so. You've kind of had an attack signal here for a bit. And yeah, that's going to be all of the villagers. There, he just noticed and just saw that they're all gone. That's funny. Just won a practice game on Hideout. Nice. That's it's nice the ladder had a practice game there for you. It's why I included some of those. And Leopard can see this, but doesn't react yet. Oh no, this is just painful. And without any mass amount of range units here to counter, I think this is going to turn into a quick game. Leopard's town center, not town center. Leopard's range getting denied there, so he can't get skirms out. Loses all of his gold access. Oh, and this is just feeling rough, even with the score lead too, which I think is just from damage done with those mangonels, but that's likely to shift here shortly. And Baldwin is coming forward with a castle forward. We'll see if Leopard can stop that or if it even goes up. And yeah, these Mamelukes are doing so much damage against these camels. Definitely not a good matchup for them. I think even with a little more micro there and Baldwin is listening, he's going to be able to take out all of those elephant archers. So that is that's really rough. It does kind of leave you at a question of what do you go for here against Mamelukes with Dravidians, and Dravidians do get good skirm options, so I would go for skirms. It still doesn't solve an issue of what gold unit do you go for. And Leopard might not notice that castle up, but should soon. And Baldwin is already up to Imp. I think we're going to see that Imp into GG for this game. Leopard is actually about to click himself, so maybe he's got more fight. Sorry, yeah, skirms don't do bonus damage against Mamelukes, but skirms do damage like they would against a ranged unit against Mamelukes. So going for skirms is still the best counter. And we did get a castle up there. I think once Leopard noticed he couldn't click. Oh no, you've got University. Yeah, I think you just want it there for protection. Maybe you just noticed a castle go up. And this is going to be one heck of a hold here for Leopard, as his villagers walk to go finish this farm under the town center fire. He needs to stay alive as long as possible against an already Imperial Age Baldwin here, and this is not going to help him. I think they clicked the castle, though. No, he was going for some elephant archers there at the castle. But the skirm, the Treb is out right away. Mamelukes are here to harass. Anything that's not protected under a castle and a TC is going to go down, and even those aren't going to be protection for much longer. And there's nothing you can do here. Leopard actually was continuing to add villagers here, just because he was selecting all his all TCs to produce vills. And Baldwin is doing good to stop that. It's kind of hard to notice those things, getting side attacked when you've got a main push too, so understandable that Leopard wasn't able to stop that. Okay. And 2 trebs out. This would be trickle trebbing, but if the opponent isn't an Imperial Age, I think that's a fine time to start. If you've got military to protect your trebs, then it's a worthwhile time to start trebbing. You're taking advantage of the time there. And there's the fire ship in action. It's demonstrating why I said you should probably go with some ranged ships there if you're gonna try to block the galleys or block the crossings. And there we go. Leopard does make it to Imp. He actually does have access to bombard cannons as the Dravidians, right? Yes. So if he went chemistry, he could go bombard cannons. He is going chemistry. He's got 2 siege workshops, so I think he's going for bombard cannons. Maybe 1 treb in this castle. I like that. This castle's going down, though. I would just let it go down at this point, especially if they've already got 3. And just focus that stone into here, or getting a new castle up here would be better. Because then, you know, they do take that castle, but they're not advancing their position far enough in to do damage yet. And with this town center going down, it kind of leaves this town center vulnerable. So planning ahead for that might be something to work on. Just to give yourself a little more time for chemistry to come in. But late to Imperial Age and then having to wait on chemistry is really going to put you in a bad spot. I think if Baldwin adds some more trebs here, he can push even quicker. But you're going to need one heck of a siege shot on these Mamelukes here. Which Skirms is a technical counter for Mamelukes. But Siege is probably the best. If you can get Siege Onager and shoot a big mass of them, that's the most effective way to fight Mameluke. I think another option is just going Arbalist and doing some micro against them. But again, it's just tough. Mameluke are pretty good against archers too. You have to really micro against it. And we almost have enough for another castle, but we're going to repair this one. This is probably good from Leopard to try to drag the military under the castle. But if the castle goes down, then it's going to be really bad. And I think that's what's going to happen here, because those trebs are firing. The Vils are not. The elephants are dead. Skirms are here. We did think about another castle over here, just too late. And this might be a GG for Baldwin. Leopard did stop the attacks over there, but that is an idled TC. And we have 2 bombard cannons. This is the hope of our future, is on these 2 bombard cannons, and he is going to go for arbs too. Yeah, I think the initial attack with your elephant archers hurt because you lost the numbers advantage there with your military, and then you were never able to produce enough. I think you put too much into villagers here. But even still, I think Saracens is just a good pick against Dravidians too. And Baldwin's gonna try to go for these bombard cannons. That's very interesting. Not sure if it's worth it. Luckily the trebs have been firing this whole time, so it's kind of losses he can afford because he doesn't need them to protect his siege. Yeah, and maybe archers would have been better. You could get them out quicker, and they're not going to be as much res to lose if that plan doesn't work. And bombard shots on these Mamelukes would probably be better than going for the trebs. But it's just hard to stop this snowball here. And there's already a ton of skirms here for your now Arbalist play, so it's kind of a short-lived stunt. And behind this, I think I would have liked to see another TC from Baldwin, just to help secure some of this outer res, if Leopard was ever in a position to counter raid. But still, really nice eco. 36 on farms over there, and Leopard's been trying to. He's on 25 farms, and not all of them are being worked either. So, just one of those tough moments you're in. And there it is, the GG. Well played to Leopard, and nice job from Baldwin to get the win. I think we saw it all. I think we said it all. I think it's just tough to play against the Saracens in that matchup too. So well played though. It was a good attempt from Leopard. I think right here, if we saw, instead of the elephant archers come in, if we saw some crossbow, then there's not much here military-wise that can stop him, stop Leopard. And then from that point on, the lead just shifts to Baldwin, and Leopard can't fight back. And because he went for that early military lead, he fell behind in eco too, actually having a little bit more efficiency. But yeah, well played. And now we're going into a game 3, which should be a lot of fun, a nice decider into who gets to go on to the next round. So let's see how that is in the next game.